Kendrick released another diss track today.
It's called 616 in LA.
Yes. Which is a reference to all of the
Drake timestamp song.
timestamp songs from Drake. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know you like the Drake timestamp songs. That's your.
Except the last one.
You didn't. Yes, we reviewed it. You didn't like the last one, but historically, when it comes to Drake's catalog,
Oh yeah,
those are the
those
songs you
are
prefer.
fire. Those are fire.
So here Kendrick is like,
Well,
oh,
it's not that I prefer them. It's just that those are usually the ones where Drake comes and shows his MC skills.
right.
And so those are usually the ones that stand out more to me because we know he's capable of a lot and we see a lot, but as of late, since he started the timestamp joints, I feel like Drake knows that he doesn't, I don't know how to word this. I feel like Drake does the timestamp songs because he knows on the other songs he's not really flexing his MC skills as much as he could. So when he does the timestamp songs, it's like, all right, I'm gonna say some real shit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show you the MC skills and show you that I'm not playing with these niggas.
Yeah.
So that's why I like them. It's not that I
I
don't like
understand.
any other Drake songs or I don't prefer other Drake songs. It's just those stand out to me because that's like Drake letting you know, hey, I still got a pen.
I still feel like you prefer those Drake style songs. I think that's.
All right.
I think that you don't like sing-songy Drake.
Sometimes
Never.
it's cool.
It doesn't. It doesn't even matter. I'm just saying. I thought that was your. I thought that was your bag, and I understand. Like there are different modes of Drake.
Yeah,
Like I think there's people who don't like that Drake.
absolutely.
Plenty,
I
actually.
think I'm about to say, yeah, I think more people don't like that Drake than do like that Drake.
I'm a bit of a hybrid. I like Nice for What Drake, but I also love, you know, Drake of yesteryear. We've talked about that. Anyway, this is not about Drake. This is about Kendrick dissing Drake. So
Timestamp 616 in LA. Talk about it.
616 in LA, over the soulful beat, Um
Off
what do we
camera.
think? I already said I'm a little fatigued. Like I don't have the patience to sift through lyrics to see what shot he took at Drake today. I think it wasn't a bad. It's not a bad song in any way. I just wasn't in that frame of mind. I, so it was hard for me. I listened to it a few times, but it was hard for me because I'm like, all right, now I gotta sit here and like, it's almost like taking the fun out of it. I gotta sit here and analyze what he's saying and why he said this and what play on words this is and whose style he was, inspired by on this. And maybe it's just the fatigue of like having to come here and critique it that I'm having today. But I don't know. I was
But
just
why do you
like,
feel like you have to decipher? Why don't you feel like you could just listen to it and take it as is?
because we do a podcast and so and a lot of the conversations, not just ours but just in general, has been the content of the lyrics. um but they're not for everyone, they're not as straightforward, I don't think. um
Okay.
so yeah, I kind of feel the pressure of trying to understand the lyrics. um so yeah, I
I don't think I understand what you're saying. I don't think people are listening to our critique and looking for us to find the quadruple entendres and the meanings that no one else on the internet even knew existed. I think people are coming here to just get our honest opinion. So I understand what you're saying, but even me as your co-host, I don't expect you to come here and be like, okay, so when he said this line right here, that was a reference to back in '07 when Drake said, I
Hmm.
don't, even as your co-host, I don't expect you to come here and say that. I
Yeah.
feel like they might look to me to that more than you.
Yeah, but I just feel like, it's, I don't know. I just kind of felt like this, okay. It's like, because it's not just, oh, this is a nice beat. Yeah, of course I like the beat. Oh, this is a nice flow. It's more than that because the content is what we're talking about, right? Like it's a diss.
Hmm.
Without the content and the context, it doesn't mean anything. It's not a diss record anymore. It's just, you know what I mean?
I see both sides. Yes, I do know what you mean, but I also think it's okay to not know all the stuff that's referenced. Even me, there's been references that I didn't know, like in Euphoria in the beginning, the backwards thing. We now know it's Richard Pryor saying everything you say about me is true. I'm phony. We didn't know that when it dropped a couple of days ago. So I think it's okay to not know and just say I like this or don't like this and here's why.
Hmm.
So I see both sides, but I do understand your point. Um, I enjoy trying to decode things, and when I catch the references for certain things, I get excited.
Hmm.
Um, but I don't, I don't feel pressure to feel like I have to decode everything, and you know, I hope you understand that you don't have to either.
I
Um,
do. I think it's just I think it's just having to come up here and give commentary on it when like before podcasting, if something like this would happen, it would just be you're listening for entertainment and that's it. So it kind of changes it a little bit, like you have to be a lot more thoughtful about the way you listen. Like you're listening for something. You're not just listening to turn music on and you know what I mean?
yeah,
So I mean it's not that I don't enjoy critiquing and I don't enjoy, when we when we listen to things and we talk about them and whatever. I don't want anyone to think that. But yeah,
you feel pressure.
when I saw it today, I was like, oh, already. I was kind of like, ugh, okay, let me listen to it. And I'm someone who doesn't have the best memory, so I listened to it this morning. I had to listen to it two more times before we started just to, try to make sure, because I don't want to sound dumb either. Like, I don't want to sound like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm not a hip hop expert by any stretch of the imagination. I like hip hop, I listen to hip hop, and you know, I have opinions. That's that's
Right.
it. So, you know, yeah.
Okay.
But
I understand. Well, I heard it. Um, I listened to it 3 times. I listened to it this morning. Oh, four. I listened to it twice this morning when it came out, and twice before we did the pod. Um, I have a lot of thoughts on this. Number one, I think it's awesome that Kendrick waited 3 days and was like, "Okay, I'm back."
I do like that. I
I
feel like
love
that
that.
goes without saying though. I do like that he came right back. And you
Yeah,
said the other day, you said I don't think Kendrick is done.
yeah. I didn't. I still don't think he's done.
Oh,
I
probably
would
not.
not. I would not be surprised. Today's Friday. I would not be surprised if Monday or Tuesday again we get
Right.
another Kendrick diss.
I actually have a question.
Okay,
Maybe
what's up?
it's too soon to ask the question. But is there, speaking of deciphering, is there a significance to Kendrick with the number 6? I know there's one for Drake. Is he just trolling Drake by using the number 6?
Oh, I don't think he's trolling him. I think it's just The idea of the timestamp songs, it's supposed to be really the time and place that Drake recorded the song.
Right. Which is what I
So I
assumed.
think, well, yeah, that's the thing. It's supposed to be wherever I'm at, this is the time and place.
But wasn't there? Okay, maybe I'm overthinking now
Oh,
because I know like when Drake refers to to Toronto, he refers to it as the six.
yeah.
So I was wondering if that was
Why the song was 6 minutes and now this is 6:16?
yeah.
Possible, but I don't think so. But who knows? Maybe Kendrick is doing that because we found out later on and didn't even get to say here on the pod that
Hmm.
the reason the song is called Euphoria is because Drake is an executive producer on the show Euphoria. So what you're saying is possible.
Yeah, I feel like Kendrick has been very meticulous
Yep.
in a way that is that's some genius level shit. It
Yeah.
reminds me, I always go back to this reference. Some of you will know this. The people who put together the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I talk about it all the time. I'm like, how did you weave all of those things together?
With a
I
big
know that
team.
there are comics. I know that there's history there. I know that it comes from somewhere. But to sit in a room with a group of people and the group of you come up with these stories that you interweave, and half the time if you're not really like if you don't know the comics or you don't know enough, you don't even realize that they're giving you game about something else that you
Yep.
don't know about or once knew about. Or to me that is some genius level attention to detail.
Yeah.
It's impeccable. Some of the things that are woke. How do you think to do? I consider myself a pretty intelligent person, but some of these things, my mind is blown. When I'm like, first of all, how did y'all figure it out? Because the people on the internet always do.
Yep.
But then how does your brain take you? I don't know. Sorry, I know you were.
I agree, and I think that is super fly. Like when I found out that Euphoria shit the other day, I was like, oh,
Yeah,
because I kept listening to Euphoria and thinking there has
what's
to be a
cool
reason
there?
why this is the name of the song. It
Yeah.
can't just be the definition because there has to be something I'm missing. And then I found out, yeah, Drake is an executive producer on the show Euphoria. I said, man, even the title is a double entendre. You asked for lyrical gymnastics.
I mean, lyrical gymnastics it is,
You said you wanted quadruple entendres and lyrical gymnastics,
and
and sir,
and and real double entendres, real entendres, the ones that actually are. Because remember when Jay-Z tried to? Never mind. Not anyway.
on a Drake song,
Yep,
it was on a Drake song.
yep. I know
Triple entendre. Don't even ask me how.
because you didn't. So why would we ask you how?
Ay, ay, ay.
You like actually didn't.
Drake and Kendrick. Drake and Kendrick. Drake and Kendrick. Stick.
One day we're gonna have a real conversation about Beyonce doing that too. Beyonce says a lot of things that don't mean. She be getting the meaning wrong. But anyway, sorry. Not recently, but like before.
Where did it go? Where did the forge?
Are you vamoose?
I'm just trying to find where your gun is at because you are busting shots.
No, it's true. Like if you go back, especially like I would say the first half of her catalog, some of some stuff I haven't listened to all of it, but some of the things that I listened to, I was like, but that doesn't make sense. And it's not because I'm stupid; it's because it doesn't make sense. It's because I'm smart that I know that this doesn't make sense. But nobody's ready to have that conversation,
All
and it's
right. Well,
fine. We won't. They're gonna kill me,
yep. Yes,
and
they are.
and I'm okay with that.
They
Boost
they're
our
gonna come for you.
engagement. Why don't you?
Oh yeah, you listen. You about to get us out of here. I'm scared for what you're gonna say next. You know what I'm saying?
I didn't say
You
shoes
you
though.
about to Joe Budden this whole shit. I'm gonna be just sitting
No,
there like Maul. You know what I'm saying?
no, no.
Just like.
Mm-mm.
All right. So I feel like we're talking a lot around the song, but
Yeah,
not
let's
about the
just
song.
yeah,
So
and I guess this is what we're talking about today. Looking at the timestamp.
nah, man, I want to talk about Rhapsody too. See if we have time. But
I know.
listen, um, so I didn't know this came out. Shout out to Days the Emperor, my boy. He sent it to me. Days just sent me a DM that said from Kendrick Lamar, eyebrow raised. It's like a DM of Kendrick Lamar. What could this be? And I saw that glove.
The MMG glove.
Oh, I saw that MMG glove and said, "Oh man, is this what I think this is?" Because that feels like the start of a diss. And as the Instagram reel played, it was a diss. The caption said 616 in LA, and I said, "Yes, nigga! Yes, let's go!
Let's
Let's
go.
go! I'ma take your shit and do it."
Yep.
Love it.
I
Love that he
love it.
did this.
It was clever.
Oh, so clever to use the time. Even if the shit was trash, just to call it 616 in LA,
Right.
man, that
Because
was exciting to me.
that's Drake's thing.
Right. Exactly. Kendrick has been showing us, hey, I play chess.
And y'all thought I wasn't paying attention. I pay attention to everything.
Everything. Hey,
Even the
I
shit
could,
you said a couple days ago, I caught that
right.
too.
Exactly.
I caught
Kendrick
that
said,
too.
oh, they keep saying I got shit in the tuck. I'm not writing new shit. Hey, 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 hey. I saw what you did 2 days ago, nigga. 2 days ago. All right?
Mm-hmm.
2 days ago, this is what you
Now
did.
see what I
Hey,
can
listen.
do in 2 days.
Ooh, and that's where it starts getting crazy. That's where it starts getting crazy. He
Mhm.
said academics looking compromised.
Oof.
He said stop pressuring academics.
Wow. Yep.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. All right. So when I heard the smooth beat, I was a little thrown off. I got to be honest. I said, okay, soulful,
Mm-hmm.
soulful beat. Sound like some Al Green type shit. All right, cool. But I didn't expect that because I didn't know. Once all right, I didn't know what to expect. First of all, because I didn't expect another diss so soon.
No, none of us did.
I'm just trying to see if this is Josh hitting me back. It is not. Um.
Mm.
So
I mean, it's Friday night. Josh might be, out painting the town red.
taking some ass.
Painting the town sexy red.
Exactly. 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 Thankfully, she did not get a shot bust at her in this record.
Not this time. But you listen, I mean, of all the shots that
You
could
think
be
you
fired.
think when Josh stands next to his girl, he sees two baddies?
All right. I'm not. You see? That means he's actually a part of my family, right? I have to see him.
Yeah. I just think that line is so funny. I be using it every chance I can now.
It's a good line.
Oh man, every chance. I
Yep.
can't wait till my daughter hears this so I can say it to her too. Oh man, I'm gonna ask her as soon as she finishes. I'm gonna do it on tune together. I'm gonna say, "M, when you see us together, do you see two baddies?"
Well, listen.
Oh my God.
Listen. While we're on this here podcast, I
Oh man.
see two baddies. Okay,
You what?
I see two baddies on the screen right now.
Holler. Holler. You know what I'm
I'm in
saying? You know
Miami,
what I mean? I believe when you
looking
pod,
for
you
a
see two
hoochie
baddies. You know what I'm
daddy.
saying? That's it. Oh, I'm in Miami. All right.
Looking for a hoochie daddy.
Oh my God. All right. So, yeah, I gotta be honest. I did not expect this beat once I saw the title, because
Mhm.
it's like silence in the beginning, or you could barely hear
Yeah,
like anything except like the little crackle from the record or whatever.
I thought my phone was
Um,
frozen.
yeah, I was like, oh, okay, the reel is playing. It just hasn't really started yet. Kind of weird.
Yeah.
Because again, I was sent this record on Instagram, so that's how I was looking at it. And once I saw the title, I said, "Oh, if he gonna do the Drake shit to Drake, this about to be crazy." But he didn't as far as the beat goes. Usually the beat for those records are not the most super fly beats, except
Mhm.
for probably the last one. Most of the time the beats for the timestamp songs are pretty simple. But
Yeah.
his lyrics are the focus, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
which
that seems intentional.
that last Drake timestamp song was kind of the opposite. The beat was kind of crazy and his lyrics were kind of not. So whatever. The beat comes on, I'm like, oh, okay. So this is in title, this is that, but not as far. You're not exactly copying the template,
Right.
which is still cool.
Mhm.
Um, but I have to be very honest. I could do without the beginning. The beginning with the little sing-songy part, I
You
could
didn't
do
like
without
the
it.
sing-songy part?
I could do without it. It didn't make or break the track for me. It's just like, all right, this is here. I guess it's cool. At first, I didn't even think it was a diss record. Once I started hearing it, I'm like, oh, he's just trolling him. He's just messing with him. This ain't even this record. He's just fucking around. But then excuse me. But then Kendrick started rapping. I said, oh, okay, no, this is a diss record. So that's my first critique. My first critique is Kendrick wants to keep warming up his engine before he starts dissing people, and that's fine. I don't want to hear a third diss that starts like this.
I guess that's his style. You know,
I don't like it.
it's a
I
style.
don't
I
like
feel
it.
like it's a style choice.
I don't
He
like it.
likes the build up.
I don't
I
like it.
liked it on the first one. I think for this one, I didn't care for it so much.
Right. Yeah, it's just now it's like, all right, I don't want to hear this a third time.
But this
It was cool.
also,
I agree it was good the first time. Forget about cool. I think it was good the first time because it kind of threw you off and left you confused. And the beat switches, it adds more of a build up.
well,
But
that's what
this
I was about to
time,
say. The beat
oh, go ahead.
changes. The beat changes to me make the intro more impactful.
Yes.
Whereas with this, it's not as impactful because it just sounds like a slow beginning to a slow song.
Yeah,
It doesn't sound like you're building up to that energy. And I feel like the other one felt very much like it was meant to build you up to where he was going. Um so yeah, I think that was
I
a
agree.
huge difference. And I think that those beat changes absolutely, had they not been there before, we might not have liked them as much as we did. So
I agree with that. And yeah, I don't want to hear that shit a third time. I don't.
how many of
I
these
don't
do you
want.
think he got?
I think there's more coming.
Okay.
And if Drake responds, I think there's definitely more coming. And I
Hmm.
think Drake needs to respond soon if he don't want to continue getting punched in the face.
He will.
Because this record is better than Taylor Made Freestyle,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
I
Uh
think he will. I think he's coming.
yeah, he's gonna have to work because call your writers, call all your friends, gather the Avengers.
Paul Sci High.
Right. Sci High. I don't think he could use daylight anymore based on what
I
I'm seeing
it doesn't
on
sound like
Twitter.
Daylight are friends. So
Yeah. I didn't even know that song existed. That apparently it's an old record where Daylight is saying he didn't get paid what he was supposed to get paid for writing the back to back disc. Uh which apparently is what Kendrick was referencing on Like That, and I didn't know that. But
mhm.
apparently that's what he meant when he said your best pack is a light pack. He meant Daylight wrote your best shit. Um And that's what we're talking about with the decoding, right? Like it's
Yeah.
not really any way to know all of this stuff, which I like that. I'll be honest. To me, that makes it more exciting because
Yeah.
as soon as I heard that, I said, "Now I want to go listen to Like That again."
Yes. It does make you want to
So
do that. It does make you want to listen to it and hear it with having the context. Of course, yeah.
yeah. Once Kendrick starts rapping, though,
Hmm.
he didn't come to play around.
No.
He spoke about a lot of stuff real quick this time, not 6 minutes. He gave it to you back to back, pun intended. You know what I'm saying? He came and was like, okay, you think this is the leak? This is not the leak. It's somewhere else. This is what happened a couple days ago. you keep saying this. Kendrick came right with it, and I like that. I like that this time he said, okay, less metaphors, less stuff to decode, straight about you. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like it. I like that he came and was straightforward. I wish he just did that from the jump, because that stuff in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, we didn't really need it. It's cool. It
Yeah.
doesn't suck, but it wasn't necessary, is what I'm here to say.
Okay.
So yeah, once he started rapping, taking shots at Ack, saying, Drake, you keep trying to shop around, player. You still shopping around. I'm sorry. I live a private life. I'm a boring guy. Sorry.
That's funny.
I thought that was great. I thought that was great. So yeah, I don't have too many complaints besides that beginning. I thought this was good. I thought this was straightforward. I think he thought about people who feel how you feel. Like, man, I'm tired
Well,
of decoding stuff. I'm tired of being on this podcast. Um,
I'm. I, it's Friday.
I know I'm just teasing you.
Oh my gosh, what a week! Like,
Um,
can't y'all tell?
all right. Yeah, I think he thought about that though. I think he thought about, all right, I gave them so much to unpack and decode and figure out on the 6 minute joint. Now I'm gonna just be straightforward. Now there's almost nothing to decode, which maybe later we'll learn there was stuff to decode. But without trying to decode anything, you can understand this record,
Yeah,
right? It's not like, hey, what was that? Oh, what's that thing in the beginning? What's this? Oh, why is it called Euphoria? Whoa, why did he do that? Who's he talking about right here? Nah,
yeah.
pretty straightforward. Like, you
Well,
didn't have to guess what, like the YNW Melly thing of, if they're not my real friends, I'm him. Who's him? Why is that important? You didn't have to figure out any of that shit this time.
yeah,
You know what I mean? He came straight forward and was like, this is this. So I thought that was good. I thought the academic thing was funny.
yeah.
Academics was caught off guard when he heard it. He's like, me? Why you put me in there? What did I
Right.
do? This is
Right.
crazy. Uh, so
And then said that the Joe Budden podcast is writing for Kendrick.
right, he said. But you know what's funny? And
Mhm.
I was gonna get to that.
Uh,
He says that, but in Tailor Made Freestyle, quote unquote Tupac,
mhm.
which we know is Drake, right? Because
Right.
we heard the version with just Drake.
Mhm.
References specifically the Joe Budden podcast and something that was said on the Joe Budden podcast. So for academics to say, "Oh, you guys are writing his script. He's getting all his talking points from y'all."
Mhm.
Well, Drake is doing the same thing then, because on
Yeah.
Tailor Made Freestyle, he says exactly what's said on the Joe Budden podcast. So
Well, you know how it goes. I mean, it's whatever serves you in that moment. So,
right, but I'm saying I agree with you, and I'm saying that's why it's funny to me that academics said that, because
mhm.
I think Ack, if we're being honest, I think Ack, who already went on the Joe Budden podcast and said he's been talking to Drake regularly about this, I think he's feeding uh Drake some things from his own thoughts, from the streets, from the Joe Budden
Yeah.
podcast,
Oh, I'm
and
sure.
I think at this point, Drake, who has a weird relationship with Joe, is very tuned into the Joe Budden podcast.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
So if that's the case, you can't make that claim, Ack, because
Not as tuned in as Kendrick is to Drake. Not as much. I mean, Kendrick has cameras or something. He's bugged the place. Okay.
listen, years ago, Pusha T said exactly where he got his leak from. After the beef was over, when he did the interview with Joe Budden, he said 40 was sleeping with someone and they spent a lot of time talking on the phone together and
Mhm.
they have a very close relationship. And he talks a lot to the woman about things going on in that camp. And so she went straight to Pusha T and was like, hey, here's some things you might want to know.
I just want to give y'all some advice right now.
Shut the fuck up.
It's okay to pillow talk. Let me finish. It's okay to pillow talk, but know who you pillow talking to.
Yeah.
You don't you don't pillow talk to disloyal bitches. And I don't know this person, so I mean that very generally. I'm not trying to call that person a bitch. I probably shouldn't have said what I just said. I'm just saying, it's not hard to tell who's loyal and who's not. If you really pay attention, it's pretty easy. Some people will screw you over because they're snakes, but for the most part, if you spend enough time with a person, you'll be able to figure out whether they're loyal or not. And only then. And if you got beef with a dude, or you're a part of the camp with the beef, don't tell her nothing. Don't tell her nothing.
But what happens when you've already been trusting this person who you thought was loyal and seemed to be loyal, but then the beef starts and they flip?
Well, that you can't do anything about. And the reality of the situation is it's not as black and white as I'm making it sound. Right? It's just not. I think that people find themselves in sticky situations sometimes. People find themselves in
There was a joke there, but I'm gonna let it go.
okay. People find themselves in unexpected moments, right? So maybe at one point you and someone else are very close, very tight, and very trusting of one another. And then maybe something happens to break that trust. Or, you sever ties, you go separate ways, or whatever it is. Now, I'm a strong believer, and I've said this before when we talked about Common and Mos Def and that whole thing. I said it before. I'm I can hate you, and I'm not gonna tell your secrets. Like that's not. But I'm also not a part of like a collective of rappers either, because that's a very different situation. See, people who make music, that's a different game. People who write books, that's a different game. You got to be real careful. You got to be real careful
That's why I
because
only got three friends. You know what I'm saying?
because creators will create. Okay? Creators will create. Like I'm sure like, before there was hardly minding my business, my podcast was very dating centered. I'm sure, well, no, I know for a fact that there are men who were not pleased with some of the stories I told. It wasn't because I was disloyal. It was because I was telling my experiences. Now, if you don't like if you're not favorable to the experience I had, then sure. But my point here is that you gotta be careful. Because what I never did was like said anything bad. I never told anything that they told me about their personal lives or like other people. Because that's what'll get you fucked up.
Yes, this is true.
Talking about other people who got nothing to do with the two of y'all, and then not knowing who you're laying down with, and them going and repeating it to other people. Now that's
And I think in this type of hip hop beef that's amplified, that's why I asked the question I asked,
mm-hmm.
because it could be someone who seems loyal. It could be someone who seems like a great person, but then they hear in the streets, oh, JD is offering $40,000 for dirt on
Right.
Dash. Oh, I know something she did back in seventh grade. I'm gonna
Well,
go tell
see,
him.
that's not loyalty.
But I'm saying that you don't know that until the moment presents itself
Of
sometimes. So
course.
I think it's a complex situation. They said Drake was offering big money for people to reveal stuff about Pusha T. Just no one did. And so Kendrick has already said the same thing. Like, nigga, we hear you shopping around.
That's so wild to me. Every time I hear that, I'm like, okay.
Oh, I don't think that's wild. I think it makes perfect sense. I think if you have a large sum of money, because we don't know Drake's exact net worth, but we know he's up, as the kids say.
Right.
So if you're wealthy and you need dirt, well, how you gonna get the dirt?
From the snakes.
Right. And why would I work hard if I don't have to? Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah, of course.
I'm not
I
saying I would do it. I'm only saying I understand it, right? Because
right.
if I don't have if I don't have the dirt on Dash and
Mhm.
I want to diss Dash, I got to find somebody who got the dirt, right? And now when I find them, how am I going to convince them? Like, let's just use Josh, who we mentioned on this pod multiple times today, right? If I want to diss you and I want to go to Josh, what am I going to say to convince Josh to give me the dirt? Like, hey, man, give me, what's the worst shit that happened when y'all was growing up? He going to be like, nigga, I will fight you.
Right.
I'm not telling you shit. Why would you even come to me? Now, if I come and say, but Josh, I got 150K. You might say, oh, okay, listen, man, she peed the bed till this
Nah,
age. And
nah, he better not.
one time, one time she did this, another time she did that.
Mm-mm.
Speak
I
the
don't
devil,
believe it.
and he shall appear.
I would have to. Oh, that's him.
Yep.